Hello Year 7 and welcome back to another art lesson with Mr. Torby. This is the last lesson of the year. I hope you've enjoyed all the other lessons you've been doing on this during these strange times in this virtual lockdown. Oh, not virtual lockdown I should say, normal lockdown but with the virtual work. Anyway, so what I've got here, we are going today to draw one of your designs and you're going to make it a little bit more realistic. So you're going to do it so it feels pretty much whole of a page. Now I'm going to work on A3 paper here. You can work on A4 if you don't have any A3, but I'm also going to use watercolour paints. Now with these watercolour paints, if you don't have watercolour paints, that's fine. You can always use colouring pencils as well. I just thought to mix it up a little bit, vary our mediums. We'll do one final demonstration with watercolour paints. If you've got acrylics, you can use acrylics. It's entirely up to you, whatever you want to do, but we're going to try and make this look as realistic as possible. So what I'm using to help me, I've downloaded a picture of a Snickers bar, and what I want to do is I want to draw our chocolate bar, or my chocolate bar, at this kind of angle. So this is just helping me to just give me a bit of a reference point on how to do that. Again, if you don't want to do it at an angle, that's fine, but like I say, I want to try and make this look like it's a bit more realistic. Anyway, so I'm going to start, and what I will do is I will speed it up and slow it down in places to give you sort of different tips on how to do. So basically, I'm going to start by drawing the shape of the bar. Okay, so I've got my general shape of the bar. Now, again, mine is, the way I want to do mine is I want to do mine sort of thinner than it is wide. If you look at the Snickers bar, it's obviously a lot narrower and it's a lot thicker compared to what it is. But this is how I'm doing mine. Your packaging might be slightly different. It's entirely up to you how you want to do this. Try and avoid copying mine exactly. However, if your bar is similar to the Munch bar, by all means you can use that to help you use this shape. Okay. Right, so a little tip with this. Now the difficulty lies when it comes with this packaging is obviously this text. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually, as you saw this, I didn't actually use any rulers at all to actually get the overall shape. You can, if that helps you, you can use a ruler, but I'm going to use a ruler so I can put on where the text is going to be, because I'm going to follow this line. I'm just going to line it up with the angle that I've got on there and just slide it up slightly, because the text, as you can see in my packaging, it fills pretty much the whole of the page, or sorry, the packaging I should say. So I do that quite lightly because I essentially will rub that out, but again, I want the angle to stay the same, so just slide in the ruler up so I know this is where it's going to be. Now if you want to be really precise with this and you are struggling, what you can actually do here, you can actually measure your line, how long that line is, and here it's, well, mine's 25 centimeters. You can count how many letters you have in your packaging, on your font I should say. So you've got here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I would end up doing, because mine's joined up, I could basically divide this up into 5, make it the marks, make little marks here, and I would know then that I have to fit the fit the font in these things. So I'm just going to do this just as a demonstration so it can help you. And as you can see here, I've got the angle, I'm keeping the angle slanted. It's the same as the end of the chocolate bar. Now I do that very, very lightly. As you can see, my angle's gone off slightly at the back here, but that's then my guide to then fit in. I know it should fit in my my text. Anyway, I'm going to speed it up from here. You can watch as I do it. Don't hesitate to use a ruler if you need to. That should help you divide up. Again, it's very, very simple division. You measure your length, then you divide it by how many letters you've got. Okay, so once you've done your initial drawing, what I highly recommend you do, because if you're going to use watercolours, I would rub out as much of the pencil marks as possible, because you really don't want to see any of that. So I'm just going to do that. Again, I'll speed that up. I just thought I'd say, make sure you rub out any pencil marks that will see through, will come through the paint. Right, so I'm going to start painting this now. Just a quick couple of tips, just a few reminders if you are using watercolour paints. Remember, you can't, if you make something darker, you can't paint over it with a light colour. So obviously with my Munch logo, I've got to just be careful that my blue doesn't go over this where I'm going to put my yellow, because basically I won't be able to paint the yellow over the top of the blue. Also, you obviously want your paint a really nice consistency, so all you do, like I've told you before, you might be able to see this, is that basically you want to make sure that you get little bubbles appearing in the surface of your paint. So what I'm going to actually start off with, the colour I will start off with, is actually the yellow. So it's good to start off with the lightest colour first, because then if you make any mistakes, you can always go over the top of the lighter colour. So I'm just going to add water until basically tiny little bubbles. So you want a really nice consistency, really put quite a lot of water in there. Put a lot of water in there, and then the tiny little bubbles will appear in the surface of the actual paint block. Okay, we'll go in a second. So that's pretty much my design there. All I'm going to do now, just to give it a little bit more weight, I'm just going to put a little shadow underneath, a little bit of grey paint. Actually, I'll show you how I'll do this. Basically, I will take quite a fine brush and go along the edge of my chocolate bar. Make it quite a dark line. What I'm then going to do, take all the paint off my brush. Just spread it out. Soften the edge. And there you have it. So that's my final design. I could tweak this a little bit, might go over some of the yellow in places, but that is pretty much it. So that's hopefully what you will aim for when you are doing your final design. Okay, have fun, and I will see you after the summer. Have fun and goodbye.